What's going on, everybody? Toby Wan Shinobi here. Welcome to part 2 of our Halo Infinite spawn guide. In the first video we explained how the spawn system works, and in this second video we're going to show you real game spawn examples. If you didn't watch part 1, I'm now going to give you a 40-second explanation of the essential things you need to know. You can skip this if you already watched part 1. I've come to the conclusion that Halo Infinite's spawn system has two rules. Rule 1 is to spawn you as far away from the largest group of enemies as possible. That's right, spawn you as far away from the largest group of enemies as possible. A group is considered 2 or more enemies in close proximity to each other. The second rule is that it tries to spawn you near a teammate while also keeping you a safe distance from those enemies. Okay, maybe consider a third rule is that the game tries to spawn you away from any enemy at all, even individuals, but it really prioritizes spawning you away from a group of enemies, being 2 or more. Alright, let's take a look at our first example here on live fire. Red is going to spawn as far away from these 2 pinks as possible. Pink is going to spawn as far away from these 2 reds as possible, and near allies, so these guys are just going to spawn together. And the last pink just spawned here inside of garage still. So notice that this guy right here is shooting at this guy in garage, and pink just spawned right here, even though his teammate is getting shot. The game does not care if your teammate's getting shot. The game really cares about the proximity in which you are from the largest group of enemies. So how far are you from these 2 guys? Yes, that's a perfectly safe spawn. We can spawn you near your allies, away from the largest group here, because there's enough range. It doesn't matter if you're being shot at from that range, as long as you're far away from these guys. Okay, so red right here is almost guaranteed to spawn as far away from these pinks as possible while close to allies. So that's going to be bottom C probably, or somewhere near C tower, because that's the farthest away from this group right here and the closest to an ally. So if you are pink right now and you just killed this guy and you look at your teammates and say, oh, we're all grouped up together, you know that that teammate or that enemy that you just killed is going to spawn as far away from you guys as possible near the other enemies that you see. So he's probably going to spawn down here. Oh, he spawned right here. So yeah, the distance at which these pinks guys are at that point from here was perfectly fine to spawn him next to his teammate that's being shot, like I said earlier. And yeah, they spawn near the teammates and furthest from that large group. Now this red guy are going to spawn as far away from possible at this group of 3 pinks over here, which is probably going to be back here, bottom C still, because he's got an ally here. And yeah, so this guy just spawned bottom C. So this is still far enough away. You know, these guys are not encroaching in the spawn zone, so they're going to keep spawning bottom C here. Pink was spawning as far away from this group of reds as possible, which is over there and still near an ally, which is bottom garage. Another one just spawned bottom C, still a safe spawn. Now these guys are getting pretty close. Let's see. So at this point right here, this guy has crossed the line of this being a safe spawn. This is no longer considered safe. People are under fire in this area. Now the spawns are going to get split. Someone's going to end up spawning over at B across from all this craziness. So yeah, as you can see, this guy just spawned over at B. Okay, so now we've got 2 dead red guys here, 3 pinks over here at C. So these red guys want to spawn as far away from these pinks as possible while still near a teammate. Again, I think they're going to spawn over at B is probably the safest spot for them because there's a pink guy in this garage. So yeah, I think they're going to spawn over at B. Yep, there's 1 that just spawned over at B and 2 that just spawned at B. Okay, now in this example, we've got 3 greens coming up the driveway over to B. 1 red player still alive, and all the other reds are dead. So this group right here is really going to influence the red spawns. Red is going to try to spawn near a teammate. He's the only alive teammate, and then as far away from possible as this group right here. So that's probably going to be over at A, maybe even PD to try to spawn close to this guy. That would be my guess. Yeah, so that guy just spawned at PD. These guys are encroaching up here. He's in trouble. The rest are probably going to spawn over at A or back cafe. So yeah, now he's the solo teammate, so they're going to spawn probably over at A to kind of try to support him, but be away from this yellow group right now, or this green group. So yeah, now they're spawning back cafe and A. All right, so now we have a situation where we've got 2 greens over here and 2 greens over here, 2 reds in the middle. There's a dead red here, and there's actually a dead red off screen right here that I just saw die. So these red guys that are dead are definitely going to spawn as far away from possible as this group and this group. So if you're yellow team right now, if you're this guy, you can see, hey, I'm in a group right here and there's a group right there. Guaranteed these guys that we just killed are going to spawn as far away from these two groups as possible. Safest place for that to happen is probably bottom C. Yeah, so there's one that just spawned bottom C. Oh, they're pushing up on the spawns. Okay, so now at this point, got a group over here at A, kind of, and a group over at B. Let's see if somebody else... I think someone could still spawn at back C right now. Yeah, so this guy just spawned over here at C. But now these guys are getting pretty close into the spawn. So these two guys right here, I don't know if they can spawn here. Maybe... Okay, one more spawn there. But at this point, they're about to start a fight. They're very close in proximity to the enemy, so it's very unlikely that this last guy is going to spawn here. These guys are just too close. But this group over here is really screwing things up, so it's interesting. So this last guy is probably going to spawn over in PD, because that's probably the safest spot for him. So this is a split spawn. Yep, so there he is, PD. So if you were this green guy back here, you would kind of recognize that and say, oh, my teammates are pushing too far into C. If you were keeping really good track, you would know, okay, we killed 3 of them, but one of them is going to spawn outside. So this is the danger of pushing too far into B. You know, these guys had control, or sorry, into C. These guys had control of B, and they had control of A. They could have just stayed at B and protected it and not pushed into C. But because this guy walked over this line, he's now flipping spawns. So now this guy's going to be on his teammate's back. And this guy right here was the issue. He came too far into C, flipped the spawns, and now this guy's spawning behind them, and that's going to be problematic for them. All right, so now we've got a lot of dead players. 1, 2, 3, 4 dead players. We've got 2 golds or 2 greens top mid here, and not really any reds grouped up. So the reds are kind of going to spawn probably on this farthest red back here. The red guy is probably going to spawn way back there at Cafe or back A. The greens are going to spawn pretty much, well, it depends on who spawns first here. I don't know who died first. Let's see. Yeah, so this guy just spawned over here with his friend at back Cafe. Now that means that the greens are going to spawn as far away from these guys as possible and as close to an ally as possible, so they're almost guaranteed to spawn at bottom C or inside this closet. So yeah, one just spawned inside the closet near an ally furthest from that group, and the other one just spawned at bottom C. Biggest group of yellows are probably here. They're kind of near each other. This guy looks like he's at bridge, and this guy's at top control. Yeah, so these guys are grouped up at control. These 2 reds right here, I think, are going to spawn. Furthest from them is probably, and near teammates, is probably near pipes. Back here is probably a safe spawn for them. Yeah, so, okay, nice. Both of them just spawned bottom orange pipes. So again, that's furthest from these guys and close to this ally here. Okay, now we've got a situation where we got 3 green guys inside of control. So this red enemy is definitely going to spawn as far away from these guys as possible while close to teammates. Safest place for him is probably going to be at top glass near this teammate right here. Even though there's an enemy kind of close, that's pretty far away from this group while still being near a teammate to help. Yep, there he is. So he's bottom hallway next to top glass. All right, everybody, I hope these examples helped illustrate the teachings from the first video. If you haven't watched that video, go and do it now. I think it's really going to help you. Have a great day. Good luck in the arena. Shinobi out.